In the town of Moodus, Connecticut, a strange and still unexplained series of rumblings seemed to be coming from beneath the ground for as long as people can remember. Native American medicine men, Puritan preachers, alchemists, and scientists have all theorized to the source of these strange noises. Up to this very day, none have been able to decisively answer to the origins of the subterranean rumble so far. From magic to seismology and everything in between, today we'll be exploring the Moodus Noises. I'm Chris.
I'm Kathy.
I'm Sean.
And this is Waiter After Dark. Sean, Kathy, you know what tomorrow is, right?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, come on. October 1st, the kickoff of spooky season. Everything that fucking runs through our blood 24/7.
This is our month, guys.
This is it.
I'm so excited for October.
And it's our first fucking spooky season with the pod. Because you remember last year, we started in November.
We did.
So
we missed it.
We can't fuck this up. Yeah.
No.
You guys are right.
We need to deliver.
Absolutely. And like, just thinking about some of the episodes, gang, that we've got coming down the pipeline. We've got fucking aliens. We've got
Ghosts.
Yep. We've got maybe a surprise episode.
It's like a pre-tease, right?
Yeah. Someone's coming down the pipeline. We've got something cooking.
We're working on something.
Yeah, you might get a bonus episode this month, because, why the fuck not? Right?
And it's October.
It is
October.
Exactly.
It's not fucking pumpkin spice latte October. It's scary as fuck October, and that's what we do here.
That's it. We got the weird shit that pops off in New England, and this is our fucking month to shine.
I do like a good pumpkin spice donut, though.
I do love a good pumpkin spice muffin. Now you got me thinking about pumpkin spice. Chris is just like, keep it scary. Now we're like, a pumpkin spice is pretty good.
Pumpkin spice, scarves, hats, warm weather.
Call me basic.
Cool weather.
I'll eat a fucking muffin. I don't give a fuck. But yes, Halloween. Do we have any like Halloween rituals or favorite memories, or what really like gets you fucking going when October 1st comes?
Every October, we'll start off doing a classic horror movie run through the entire month. Halloween, Friday the 13th, not Nightmare on Elm Street.
Skip that.
Skip that. Yeah. But The Conjurings and just all those movies. I love those movies.
You just let it rip.
I do. All of October.
1st comes, I'm sending it.
Yep.
All right.
We haven't been perfect about it, but usually we do at least hit Salem once. Salem, Mass, and do the ghost tours and hang out for the day.
Yeah.
We did try to do Salem one year, and we had tickets to go on a ghost tour.
Last year.
No, I'm talking about like a few years ago. And Sean and I got wasted and couldn't find where the tour was supposed to start.
I'm pretty sure you just did your own tour at that point.
Yeah.
We did.
That's just
so
spooky.
much fun.
That's spooky over there.
Yeah. We have this great photo that we can throw on the Instagram too about us with like the witches from that movie,
Hocus
Focus Witches, or not the real ones. Maybe the real ones.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Think it was.
Fucking Salem Mass. Things got weird. I feel like I've always been the type of individual that's just like zoned in on like horror movies and stuff. So me and one of my buddies, Chris, we not this Chris, different Chris. Every month we do like horror movie night. So most recently we saw Weapons, which is sick. I think that just probably amps up a little bit, but who doesn't fucking love the fall weather? Summer's winding down. You still get some good days, but then you get those cold, crisp nights. Like, I love it.
I love sitting around like a campfire, like at night when you just like, you're all hanging out, having some drinks.
Maybe we should do
going.
an episode live around the campfire.
Ooh, that'd be sick.
That'd be cool.
We could make that happen.
Yeah,
we can totally figure that out.
Maybe that's part of our special.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Maybe.
We'll have to
Just
take a look
figure
into
out
that.
how not to burn any of the equipment.
Yeah. And we'll see if we can get our guests maybe to come in person. Maybe that could happen.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be dope. Well, hey, when we think of Halloween, you're thinking of goblins, you're thinking of ghosts, you're thinking of witches, you're thinking of aliens, you might be thinking of Donald Trump. Scary shit.
I got some scary shit for you. Floods, wildfires, air quality warnings. I think we broke the record for 90-degree weather in New Hampshire this year.
Yeah.
We seem to have a 100-year storm or flood almost every year at this point.
Yeah, those once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Once in a lifetime every year.
Every year.
It's getting a little scary.
It is.
I don't know if you guys are a little concerned.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not be fucking concerned of what's going on out there? You got fucking, seems like forest fires every goddamn year, tearing up the whole entire nation. This summer was the strangest summer, right? We thought we were getting that like abbreviated change where it was like wet for the first like 2-3 months, which is crazy, where we had like no weekends, stuck inside.
Oh
now
God,
massive
that was
drought. Yeah, where it's
awful.
fucking hot nonstop. So it's so strange.
Yeah. There was a brush fire on Route 101
I saw
by
that.
us. Yeah, I think someone like flicked a cigarette or something. But it was so dry that as soon as the amber like touched it, it just immediately went up.
Yeah, just the whole area went up.
Mhm.
It was all black.
Mhm.
That was freaky.
So
Yeah, in the
weird.
medium, it was intense.
So guys, as a psychotherapist, I'm constantly reading new studies in my field, and I read about a new term called eco-anxiety, common amongst teenagers and young adults. And when I first read this, I wanted to dismiss it. But as I read further, you can see there's some real fear backed up by real data. Groups of young people are hesitant to have children, given the effects of climate change and the predictions of a worsening climate could have on the next generation. If you think about it, a lot of climate scientists are predicting the year 2050, 2060 as a catastrophic tipping point for our planet. Children born today would be in their 20s at that time. Not seeing any significant progress on climate policy in their lifetime, I can see why this cohort would struggle with the decision of having children or not.
That's definitely was part of me and my significant other deciding not to have kids. That was definitely a factor in it. I'm not going to say that was like the deciding factor, but that was definitely part of our just taking a look forward and being like, is it right? Is it fair to bring some, life into this world with so much uncertainty? And, I'm sure that can open up a whole entire can of worms if we dive down that conversation, but it popped on our brains.
Yeah, it's a whole different conversation, but it'll play into the story we have today.
Ooh. Okay.
That did not cross my mind when we decided to have a child.
So that's crazy to think about, though. Like, it wasn't like on your mind at all during that time period?
No.
I think back to my childhood growing up, born in 1990. So I remember, I don't know what grade I was in, call it like being 10, 11, 12 years old, though. Like, people were coming into our schools and teaching us about the ozone and what was going to happen to that if we didn't start taking care of it. Recycling being like so blasted into our face. Like, I think it was just the pulling forward of all the potential consequences. Right? That probably speaks to our souls. And you see a lot of like people in my generation and younger, like the environment is an important part of what we stand for and what we vote for. So I can totally see it.
I think it started in the 70s, and in the 80s, we just took a decade off about caring about anything other than ourselves.
I was going to say, I think when I was that age, I think I remember hearing about stuff, but then also having such a pushback on the opposite side, being like, this is ridiculous. We don't actually have to worry about these things. Like, who's going to buy bottled water? We don't have, our water is always going to be safe to drink. Now it's an issue.
Chris, you hit us with a splash of depression to get us started.
I mean, you said
welcome.
this was going to be scary. This is just really sad.
So I don't think eco-anxiety is new. I think we have a collective primal fear of Mother Nature that is sewn into our DNA. Humans have always had to contend with, and we're at the mercy of all kinds of natural and weather events. I think it is something deep in our collective subconscious to be in awe of and fear of a violent and unpredictable natural world. Our collective mythologies and religious texts call back biblical floods, droughts, earthquakes, and pestilence. Ancient Greeks believed earthquakes were a sign of Poseidon, the god of the ocean, was angry. The Vikings have a myth of Loki, the god of mischief, was being punished for killing his brother and was tied to a rock underground and poisoned by a serpent. The quakes from an earthquake were caused by his shaking in pain. The Aztecs of Central America believed that Toltec, the god of rain and fertility, was responsible for earthquakes. And when he was displeased with mankind, he would stomp his feet and cause the earthquakes, resulting in elaborate offerings and ceremonies to appease the gods. So to me, it seems like eco-anxiety is not a new term, as the study claimed, but rather it's been a condition since ancient times. So today I want to tell you about one such primal fear, how it got filled with myth, legend, and to this day, kind of surprisingly, is still unexplained. Small village of Moodus, Connecticut, has become known for something called the Moodus Noises, and has been talked about and feared for centuries. The Moodus Noises are a series of rumblings, crashing, and cracking sounds coming from beneath Mount Tom in the village of Moodus, Connecticut, sometimes sounding like rolling thunder under the ground. Other times, sudden loud booms sounding like cannon fire. These sounds are enough to keep the locals on edge and geologists and seismologists awake at night. We have said before on this podcast, when we do not understand something, this is fertile ground for legends to grow. And to this day, we still don't fully understand this phenomenon. Even more curiously, these odd noises go back centuries, even as far as Native American folklore, predating European settlers, continuing through history up to this day. Sometimes these noises are heard several times an hour. Other times they'll go quiet for weeks at a time. And the story about their meaning has been told hundreds of times over thousands of years.
That is so crazy. So sometimes they're rapid fire, sometimes there's weeks or months in between, but we've got these crazy ass noises that even today people can't explain.
The obvious answer here is this is a series of small earthquakes, right? As the ground is naturally settling and tectonic plates reposition themselves, right?
That'd be my guess.
So going back to even when the Indigenous people were living on the land, they have lore about these noises.
Yes.
And it's still happening today. So
Yes.
could that be underground earthquakes?
Hell yeah,
like,
it could be.
Yeah.
Having like over all of that time.
I mean, think of California, earthquake.
But it sounds like it
central.
happens more than California.
Well, even thinking nowadays, right? We have earthquakes that pop up in New England like a couple times a year. You hear like reports of little earthquakes happening.
Okay.
Like in the same spot though is fucking strange.
Yeah.
That's
Well, that's what I mean.
intriguing.
Like, at what point if it's happening over centuries, like, does the ground become damaged?
Well, that's an interesting question, right? Because geologists agree that Moodus, Connecticut is not on a geological fault line. Now, not being on a fault line does not mean you do not have earthquakes, and several have been recorded in this area over centuries, but they are much less common in the absence of a fault line in places, say, like LA or Tokyo. But even more complexing, not all of the strange sounds coincide with seismic readings. So at times, no detected geological phenomenon, but the underground ruckus continues anyway.
Now you got me hooked. Are we going to explore at any point in time how they came to the name Moodus at all?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Because now I'm
We
just
got all
in my
this.
brain.
Yeah.
I'm just like, he moved in there. Someone, his family member, was causing a fucking ruckus. And he's like, nothing more moody than this bitch. It's this fucking ground. Just freaking out.
So yeah, when I first started researching this story, I was thinking old-timey people were scared of naturally occurring earthquakes and told elaborate stories. But now I'm kind of second-guessing my first take. So let's dig deeper into the seismic activity angle, because that's where my mind went first too. In 1980, the U.S. government studied the strange subterranean sounds due to fear of seismic activity being in the same area as the Haddam Neck nuclear power plant.
Okay. Sorry, I don't need to stop you already. So now, so many people are recognizing and acknowledging that this is happening, that the government is coming in to study it.
The government has came in to study it. Universities have come in to study it. It's been on the news, yeah.
Oh, man, this is so interesting.
And nobody has any idea.
Well, we have ideas. We do not know for sure.
Okay.
So the report did confirm there was seismic activity in the area, but it was not an immediate threat to the nuclear facility. However, they also reported this activity was not connected to the strange noises heard for generations in the area. They went on to report small shifts in the Earth's crust should not make such audible, inconsistent noises. While we are not ruling out earthquakes as the source of these noises, we do not currently believe they are connected.
Oh, man.
So the mystery kind of endures.
I mean, that's the most logical explanation. So if that's out the window and you
like,
have
what is it?
actual scientists coming in, now you're opening the doors to the spiritual, the mystical, everywhere. I'm sure you're about to go, Chris.
So yeah, there's been some theories throughout the days, and I want to get into those.
I'm just envisioning like the underworld, like cracking the layers of the earth to open up to have like demons just take over.
I mean, it is Connecticut. Adds
I
up.
mean, yeah.
Yep. Everything gets weird in Connecticut, guys. So with this in mind, let's dig into the theories about what these noises are. First, the town's name of Moodus comes from the local Native Americans who called the area Mache Moodus.
Mache Moodus?
Mache Moodus.
Mache Moodus.
This was long before the European settlers came to Connecticut. Mache Moodus, roughly translated, means place of bad noises.
Oh, no way.
Weird.
The natives believed that the sounds were caused by the god Hopamok, or the spirit of death and destruction.
Oh, I told you. The underworld opening up to release the demons from hell.
I got you, fucking demons from Connecticut.
I figured it out. I'm only 15 minutes into the podcast, and I've solved the mystery.
So when the natives heard these noises, it was a warning, and important tribal decisions took into consideration the amount of rumbling coming from the mountain. When to go on hunts, when to go to war, when to migrate, even when to hold ceremonies, often was decided by how loud or quiet the mountain had been lately.
I fucking love this. So now you have a whole civilization of natives that are basing their entire existence off these unknown noises. Oh, this is so good.
Yeah. So for the native people, the answer was clear. They had to live in harmony with the land, and these underground rumblings was the land talking to and guiding them in everyday decisions. Native American belief systems being an oral tradition or stories handed down generationally, nobody knows exactly when these noises started or the stories explaining their meaning. But they certainly didn't stop with the local native population. The Puritans, a religious group, started to settle in the area in the early 1700s. They too experienced these rumblings from below the mountain. For them, the answer was accredited to the devil. It was coming from underground. It was horrifying. The devil lives underground and is horrifying. So good fit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adds up. I can't help but think that culturally, like how granular does it get? like your decision making based off these noises?
Yeah.
Do you like wake up on a Saturday and you're like, can't take my shit yet? Haven't heard the noises haven't let me take my shit yet. Holding it for a week. Like,
I was thinking more along the lines of like, I woke up today, it's Saturday, like we can't have our harvest festival celebrating our bounty of food.
Yeah, I was going to
Sean's
go
like, nah, I can't take a shit.
I was going to go collect wood, but the mountain's been loud, so I think I'll just chill here.
Yeah.
But if they are dictating everything that they do based on the sounds of the mountain, I mean, does that also include like they hear rumbling, it's not safe to go hunting? That really could come down to affecting their everyday life and survival.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the bigger decisions, right?
Yeah.
Like, should we go to war with the tribe? Should we migrate X,
Yeah.
Y, Z? I love the difference, though. You have the natives that are just like, we're going to, make and base our decisions off this noise. And the Puritans like, the fucking devil!
Yeah.
The devil did it.
like, how American. These Puritans are so American.
So-
fucking devil.
So yeah, let's get into the
Makes sense how we got where we are today.
Yeah.
Let's get into the Puritans a little bit because they get a little fucking weird about it.
Shocker.
So in 1729, the Reverend Stephen Holmeser wrote a letter to his friend in Boston referring to the strange noises as fearful and dreadful sounds that frighten most local residents. I love how he throws in frightens most local residents, indicating he's obviously not scared.
Yeah.
Well,
The locals are terrified, so he doesn't look like a pussy to his friends in
Yeah, he's
Boston.
like, I'm hard, bitch. I ain't worried about those noises.
So he continues in his letter. The Indians had somewhat of a different take on the noises. An old Indian man told me the Indian god was very upset that the Englishman's god had come here, and that's why the mountain speaks. So the first thing the white man does is try to start a holy war with the natives. Fucking typical.
That adds up.
Yeah, that's
checks
what we
out.
do.
Yeah.
He goes on to write, I have myself heard 8 to 10 sounds successively, imitating small arms fire in the space of 5 minutes. I have, I suppose, heard several hundreds of them within the past 20 years.
Wow.
Some more, some less terrible. Sometimes we hear them almost every day in great numbers. A great number in the space of a year. Oftentimes I have observed them coming down from the north, imitating slow thunder, which shakes the houses and all that's within them.
Ooh. Now we've got a direction. They're coming from north.
Yep.
We're starting to build something here.
And remember, this is a Puritan preacher, and so in our story so far, we kind of have a theme with the Puritans. We have the rock-throwing devil, we have the devil involved in Salem, devil causing underground rumbling now, a Puritan loses his comb, and it's the devil. There's so many devil-reading
You
things here.
smoke weed, you're the devil.
Yeah, everything's the devil to the
I was going
Puritans.
to say the Puritans, they have a theme
Yes.
that they follow. So grain of salt, taking what he says.
Yeah, every time we mention the Puritans, there's the devil.
Yep.
So most Puritans believed that this was another way that God was showing them to be humble and pious and remind him of his grace and power and their impurity and unworthiness and their constant vigilance about the devil. So this phenomenon and related stories might have started with the natives, but the first European settlers also experienced these noises and told their own stories to explain them away.
Tell me more, Chris.
All right, so it gets a little weirder. In the mid-1700s, another legend about the Moodus Noises came to life. This legend goes that King George of England heard about the strange noises, supposedly sent an alchemist by the name Dr. Steele to use his magic to stop the rumbling in the year of 1760.
The rumor of all of the stuff happening in Connecticut made its way all the way over to King George in England.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm going to go check this out.
Yeah, he sent over a alchemist. Now, if you're unfamiliar, alchemists were the forebears to modern chemistry. Famously, Sir Isaac Newton, the father of modern physics, was a self-proclaimed alchemist. The practice mixed chemistry and magic in all kinds of pursuits, including turning lead into gold and finding the elixir that gave eternal life. Each practitioner of alchemy added to the work done by his predecessors from their past notes and findings. In accordance to the Newton Historical Foundation, Sir Isaac Newton's personal library had over 140 books on alchemy, more than any other topic of scientific pursuit. So eventually, the practice dropped the belief in magic and became the modern practice of chemistry as we know it today. So an interesting sidebar.
I like the idea of magic better.
There's so much more flexibility with the
Yeah.
idea
Yeah.
of magic than chemistry. It's just
Yeah.
like, look at me, I can throw some magnesium in this shit and it starts a fire. Or you're just like, look at me, I wave a wand and my house is cleaned. I want that. I want that.
Yes. Yes.
So we mix these two chemicals and we throw in some magic and look what happens.
Let's be real. I want to be able to put curses on some bitches.
Yeah. Chemistry is so much more disappointing than magic.
Yeah.
But also, chemistry can fuck shit up.
It does, yeah.
So back to Dr. Steele. After investigating the area in Moodus, Connecticut, Dr. Steele told the locals that a great fossil called carbuncle lay deep beneath the earth and was the cause of the horrible noises.
I'm sorry, carbuncle?
carbuncle. Yes.
It's just a fat uncle. He eats a lot of carbs. He's stomping around over there, shaking shit up.
I'm envisioning, does anybody know the Muppets? I know, this is awful.
Please take us there. Take us there.
So I think it was on like HBO when I was a kid. It's like these Muppets. It was Fraggle Rock. And they had like the guy, he was like this big giant like Muppet ogre. And he was on the show. And when you said that name, that's immediately where my mind went.
Somewhere out there, a listener right now goes, I got you, Kathy.
Yeah, so
Chris and I are like, what the fuck? But someone's got you.
Somebody understood that.
Yeah, he had like long, shaggy like hair on the Muppet. And he was just this big guy. That's exactly what I envisioned.
So carbuncle, Chris.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So Dr. Steele said he could use his magic to remove the carbuncle and stop the rumbling.
And?
Steele then moved into a blacksmith shop in town. He covered the windows and doors with heavy blankets and worked at night in secrecy. People from town, obviously interested, tried to sneak a peek, but Steele had the place locked down like Fort Knox.
With blankets?
Yep.
Fort Knox of blankets.
So one night, the people of Moodus saw a cloud of smoke, flame, and sparks coming from the blacksmith shop, and the locals could only guess as to what was going on behind the heavy blankets. Rumors of witchcraft and demonic rituals flew around the pious locals.
I was going to say, I think blacksmith used to be considered someone of like respect.
Blacksmiths and magic went hand in hand.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Yep. So the next day, Dr. Steele, maybe sensing his welcome running short, told the people of Moodus he had removed the great carbuncle. But he had discovered a smaller carbuncle that would cause more noises. However, they wouldn't be as awful as the noises by the large carbuncle, and you're welcome.
Yeah, I got rid of the big problem. There's still going to be a little problem.
Yeah,
and
There's a
bad.
baby carbuncle. There's a baby carbuncle under the ground, and that one I can't get rid of yet.
So he's full of shit. Okay, noted.
And then legend goes, he just left town and never returned.
As one does.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Dr. Steele's intervention worked.
No way.
No.
At least for a while, the town experienced less and less intense rumbling for several years. So this most likely was just a coincidence, and there's no historical records to confirm that Dr. Steele ever visited Moodus, Connecticut, or is even a real person, so most likely just a cool story. But it goes back into the legend.
Are you saying magic's not real, Chris?
I'm saying Dr. Steele's probably not real.
But he has a great name.
I mean, what a great name.
Yeah,
though.
great name.
I think he's real.
All right, little carbuncle.
I'm going to go with it.
In early 1800s, people took a more geological and natural view of the noises. Some locals described the noises as sounding like large boulders falling beneath the ground, so large they shook the entire area.
Damn.
Yeah, almost like a hollow cavern underneath ground where boulders were suspended from the ceiling, and when they would give way, they would crash to the cavern floor below. So more logical. Still, others theorized that the ocean had underground caverns and tunnels that reached Mount Tom and Moodus. The waves crashing would flood these tunnels, and the ocean could crash in the caverns underground, causing the ruckus just below their feet.
Oh, that's interesting. How close is this place to the ocean?
About 200 miles, Sean.
Okay.
So that's not it.
And it's gone.
Yeah. So for me, that theory does not hold water. Can I get a dad joke count?
Yeah. All right. So far, the best theory I've got is there are huge boulders hanging from the ceilings that occasionally fall. Okay.
Or
Yes.
there's carbuncles. This
Or
is the carbuncle.
Oh,
That's what I
that
envisioned.
fucking looks scary.
Okay.
That's from the Muppets.
Kathy's just looking up Muppets now. Got it.
Yeah.
She's completely checked out of the story.
No, I totally checked in. This is the carbuncle. This is what I envisioned.
All right.
Again,
We will post on social media.
someone up there, Kathy's got you. Like Chris and I are like, what the fuck?
So in the mid-1800s, another legend or folklore attached to the phenomenon reports that just underneath Mount Tom lived two powerful witches, one practicing light magic and one practicing dark magic. The strange noise that came from the area was due to the epic battle. The eventual victor of these ongoing battles would usher in an age of light and prosperity, or dark and desperation, depending on the results of the battle. This fight has reportedly raged for centuries in the caverns and caves just beneath Mount Tom. Now, based on the way the world's doing right now, I think we need to send in reinforcements. Like, can we get
Sounds
Laura
like
Cabot to report to Mount Tom, please?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty...
Yep. Donald Trump's calling in the National Guard right now. Going to
Let's
Mount
go.
Tom. Yeah. Out of curiosity, I can't remember. We had a listener tell at one point that talked about Mount Tom and seeing UFOs on the top of Mount Tom. Was that in Connecticut or was that Mass? This is Mount Tom, New Hampshire, so they could be everywhere.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was Mass.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's a weird Mount Tom phenomenon going on then.
All the
Ooh.
Mount
All the Mount Toms are...
Weird.
In the
dark as
Mount
fuck.
Tom in New Hampshire, I had something weird happen in New Hampshire Mount Tom. I was out
Wow.
there hiking with the lady, and we were up there one day. Then all of a sudden, I put my hand out, and this bird flew and landed on my hand. I'm not Tom. Weird shit.
The weird part was
What?
that
It was a
Sean
Grey
had a
Jay.
lady friend.
Fuck off.
That-
It was a Grey Jay. The Grey Jay just landed on my hand.
All right. That's beautiful.
With a
Yeah.
lady friend.
Okay, let's move on.
So adding to this story, an opening at Mount Tom called the Cave of the Winds, or Moodus Cave, is said to be where the noises are the strongest. The cave is not actually a cave, rather it's caused due to a space between two large boulders left over from the last ice age. Moodus caves are on private property. Many trespassers report that just beneath ground, you can find the spot where the source of these strange noises.
I'm so interested here what the source is.
So according to Stephen Goncaglia, a professor of folklore studies at the University of Massachusetts, by the way, what a fucking awesome gig that would be.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get him on the podcast one day.
Yeah. Or we can fucking start that as our gig. We are the local folklorists of New England.
I'm going to go to college and teach this.
Yeah. Can we get staffs? Like, I feel like if you're a folklorist, you need a staff.
Yes.
And a beard. Chris, you got to grow a beard, bud.
Yeah, probably. So according to this professor, there's 3 cycles to these myths. The 3 cycles we've discussed so far, the devil, the alchemist, and the witch, correspond to 3 ages of anxiety for the people in the area and the U.S. at large. First, the Puritans take on the rumble, taps into colonial anxieties about indigenous people and their fear of local and native populations as being different and perceived danger to their way of life. The Puritans lived in constant fear that the natives could attack at any time. Several skirmishes between the Europeans and natives had already taken place, and the 2 groups lived in fear of each other.
So hypothetically, it's the supernatural natives out there making scary noises in the woods.
So the natives were the reason that the devil was there, because remember, they weren't Christians. So.
Thank you for landing that
Yeah,
plane.
So this sparks stories about the devil and the natives.
Well, yeah, because that's what was needed at the time. More fear of the natives
Yes.
from the white settlers.
Yeah.
So the second story, The Alchemist, was about fears of new waves of immigrants in the mid-1700s. With their own traditions coming to the area, it was a warning not to trust new ideas and fear of change. Again, the locals saw a threat to their way of life in these foreign ideas and traditions. Hence, the mysterious traveler, the alchemist, became entwined with the story about the strange noises.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to point something out here. It's either the natives who were here first or the immigrants coming over, but it's never the fact that the white guys
Obviously.
are just like making shit up.
Yeah.
We're
Like,
perfect.
yeah.
Perfect.
We like no responsibility or
Yeah.
blame whatsoever.
They're
Okay.
called Puritans. They're
Pure.
pure.
Oh, the pure.
They're
right,
pure.
right. They're perfect.
At least we haven't blamed women.
Yet.
Not yet.
Oh, wait.
Hold on, it's coming.
So the introduction of witches in the 3rd cycle of the stories times up nicely with the increased presence of women in public life through the suffrage movement in the mid-1800s. Women's rights and changing social roles, again, created anxiety about the status quo and fear of change. So the strange noises became 2 witches, light magic representing the status quo and dark magic representing a changing culture. I believe Laurie Cabot would have practiced light magic, would have taken the side of women's rights and progressive culture. So in a way, all these local collective fears and anxieties were explained away by the rumbling underneath the mountain. The rumbling did not change. Our collective fears and storytelling seemed to change to fit the stressors and anxieties of the day.
That's what legends and folklores are all about, right? They're all stories that are created to teach you something.
Well,
That's
But
why
it's interesting that this adapts, though, right?
does,
Yeah.
You think
yeah.
a lot of mythology and a lot of legends, they're to explain something, but it's
Yeah.
almost like this story is adapting every couple decades to fit
whatever's actually happening.
current politics are there.
Which to me was fascinating.
Yeah,
right?
it is interesting.
So Boston College in 1992 set up seismic equipment around Mount Tom area, along with sensitive audio recording devices to put this question to bed once and for all. Interestingly, the area did experience hundreds of quakes during the 3-month-long observation. These readings were usually followed by recordings of the Moodus Noises caught on the audio equipment. However, the Moodus Noises were recorded even when there was no seismic activity recorded on the detectives, keeping the mystery alive. So the current theory among scientists is that the unique and porous bedrock of the Mount Tom area is working as an amplifier for geologic activity that otherwise shouldn't be heard above ground. Now, one interesting report seemingly to support this theory is from 1724 when an earthquake in Newbury, Massachusetts, 230 miles away, was reportedly heard in Moodus, Connecticut.
Such a cool idea.
Yeah, so there's an earthquake in Maine, but because of the strange geology of it, you're able to hear it in Moodus, Connecticut.
That was going to be one of my theories. I was going to ask if maybe it was like an echo of something happening further away. So I guess that's actually one
that's
theory.
one of the theories they have.
All right. The other thing I'm thinking about is they said that there were 2 huge boulders that were set, and it was beneath the boulders that they were hearing the sounds and where they were coming from.
Yep.
Well, if you think of two boulders set side by side from each other, when the wind blows, could that be creating just like the perfect element of some type of resonance that is then sending noises in a certain frequency out that the town's hearing?
I could see that, but would you feel your house rumbling from?
It depends on what resonance is, right? Like you can hear certain resonances with like, think of like how people play the glasses and stuff like that, and how the water shakes and the whole tables will shake. Like it depends on what frequency it's going out. So maybe, I don't know.
This is really interesting theory, and I didn't read anything about that. I think you...
I cracked it.
He solved it.
Cracked the code. Let's go.
Sean solved it.
Yeah. But the truth is, these are all theories and stories about the strange noises that come from the town of Moodus, Connecticut. I can only speculate that these theories must seem as real to us today as the theories were to people in their time frame. So magic, gods, subterranean caverns, witches, alchemists, seismic activity have all been woven into the reason for generations of locals experiencing these rumbles. Each generation connects the noises to their own stressors and fears through elaborate and clever storytelling. Each retelling of these stories seems to coincide with a period of fear and change. Today, our telling of the story is unexplainable earthquakes. This might be said to feed into our eco-anxiety, as I mentioned at the beginning of the story. Or in other words, we are currently playing out our anxieties of the time in a very similar way to our ancestors, in the way we are currently telling the story of the Moodus Noises. While we might believe that our latest science and latest thinking makes sense in this phenomenon, did not the Puritans believe the sound was in fact the devil? My big takeaway is that while our culture has leaned into a more rational and scientific mind and away from the supernatural, our fears of the unknown have not changed. Whether a product of the natural or supernatural world, we still fear the unknown. And even with our latest detectors and predictive models, Mother Nature is still an unknown. And this fact is embedded into our collective consciousness at our deepest level. And our most primal fears. Fires, hurricanes, floods, the next big earthquake are all going to happen. It's not a matter of if, but rather a matter of when. These explanations for these events might change, but our primal fears remain static and alive within all of us.
Well, my first thought is it's clearly got to be the devil.
It's probably the devil.
Like potential.
But I have to agree with Sean. It's either echoing, happening from pockets underneath, deep in the ground, or the devil, his demons break out to take over the world.
Or when you die, right? We always talk about like, are ghosts real? What's happening? Maybe they all just go to Moodus, Connecticut and they're just throwing a fucking party.
It's like, hey, this is where we go.
Well, it's super interesting to me that even to this day, with all of our understanding of the natural world, they still can't truly explain it. They have good theories, but we've had theories for thousands of years, which made this story fascinating.
I don't know. I have to admit, I think that there's something kind of nice about not knowing. Sometimes not everything needs to be explained.
Maybe it does come back to geology or geography, but it's different than the rocks underneath the earth. Like, is Moodus, Connecticut in a valley where all of a sudden just like gunshots and stuff can like echo through the valley and stuff? And again, like you can hear it hundreds of times over a 20-year period is crazy.
Yeah, you see, I really like that theory, and my mind was going the same place. But then the Native Americans, pre-gunpowder, pre-firearms, were hearing the same noises.
Shucks. Bigfoot.
Shucks.
Bigfoot.
He said fucking shucks.
I was onto something now.
You little hillbilly. You got like a straw?
Yeah, shoot. Shoot.
Piece of hay. Like,
man.
Shucks.
Yeah, then next thing I got is Bigfoot knocks, and I'm tapping out here. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
well,
what
don't
it
feel
could
bad
be.
because scientists, seismologists, university professors have not been able to figure it out either. It's still a mystery to this day.
I love a good fucking mystery.
Especially when we have actual recordings and actual evidence, right?
I feel like we've got to go to Moodus and we got to spend like a week down there and just be like, can we hear one of these sounds?
Yes.
Like, take it in. Like, I don't know.
Verbo. I got it.
Verbo. VRBO. Let's go.
Yep.
Well, for me, for spooky season, it's the devil. And we're going to wrap it up there. So, Chris, thank you so much for sharing this episode on the Moodus Noises in Connecticut. Again, fucking Connecticut, am I right?
Connecticut's
like, what the
fucking weird.
fuck?
It's always in Connecticut.
Always in Connecticut. And with that, gang, we hope that you enjoyed this episode as well. And if you did, be sure to make sure you check out our Instagram, our Reddit, and our Facebook, because we out here building communities. So if you want to talk to us or talk to other individuals just like you, make sure to go check in over there and drop us a line. And no, we are always on the hunt for weird New England stories. Have you heard these noises? Have you heard Bigfoot in the woods? Have you had an alchemy moment where you turned water to wine? Because if you have, we want to hear those stories. And if you have, send them to thegang@weirderafterdark.com. And don't forget, October's upon us. Things are about to get weird. So if you like aliens, gremlins, we ain't got no gremlin stories, but if you like all that shit, you come check out this podcast because we're going to have a special event popping off for you on Halloween itself. So make sure that you give us a listen. And don't forget, it always gets a little weirder after dark.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.